就会露出助推器和最下面的这个一级火箭，然后呢，再从下往上的第2层也会打开，露出接下来的1级火箭，然后最后会开第3层，是这样的一个顺序。之所以要把第3层放到最后呢，这也是有它的一个考量，因为第3层那边对应的就是整流罩，然后里面就是航天员他们所在的位置。然后关于这次的发射呢，也许有人会说，因为这次所采用的这个火箭和发射的流程呢，实际上跟5年之前的神舟11号当时是差不多的，但实际上呢，经过我这2天的采访，也是跟很多这边的航天的专家了解过了，这次还是有很多值得我们就非常期待的一些新的特点的。比如说，首先第一个特点呢，就是这次是首次具备了一个自主的快速。
Beijing Aerospace City. Vice Premier Han Zheng, among other senior leaders. So these are top level officials. There you see Central Military Vice Chairman of the Central Military Chief there. That was Zhang Youxia. You just saw there. So these are top level officials. They're watching. That really. It's a moment of pride too. This is Xu Qiliang, the other vice chairman of Central Military Commission. He is watching this launch very closely at the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center, among other leaders. So we've got two groups of high-level leaders watching this launch from Beijing and also at Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center. All right, 3 minutes to go till launch. And it's interesting, it's usually quiet at the launch control around this time as we're getting close to time zero. Not much comm going on there except for a few simple commands and the final countdown. And that's because the final status checks by now has all been completed. And that's a good sign. You don't want to hear too much noises around this time.
Yeah, they have a set of code of conduct is already undergoing, so everything went well. So they're everything being quiet. If anyone raises a voice, that means there's an anomaly.
I believe at this moment the electrical supply has already transferred from ground to the interior batteries.
2 minutes to go. A nerve-wracking moment, I mean, for the flight crew, for the whole launch team, and for all of us who are watching. As much as this is a moment for excitement, it's also a moment for anxiety, isn't it?
And also the launching schedule is really tight for the China Space Station program. And we witnessed the first core module launch in the end of the April, and we saw the cargo ship just launched to the orbit just following maybe it's a few weeks later.
Even the cargo ship was delayed for a week, but was successfully launched into space.
That's right.
And right now, for the astronauts who are waiting there for launch, there's really not much they can do for this period of time. They're strapped in, things are out of their hands. They're relying on their team to get them out there safely. There we see the crew of Shenzhou 12 mission in the middle, Nie Haisheng, the flight commander, and alongside with him are the flight engineers, Liu Boming and Tang Hongbo.
Yes.
All right, that's the call out. T-minus 60 seconds. An incredible moment to witness. Truly majestic view.
The astronauts are ready, in their ready position.
They're ready.
Yeah, and soon we're going to see the umbilicals being detached. That's going to happen from any moment from now.
The arms will be finally
there you see
attached.
the retractable arm has been rolled back.
Wow. The historic moments is coming. And
30 seconds till launch. The first crewed mission destined for Tiangong China Space Station on board the Shenzhou 12 spacecraft. Less than 20 seconds to go.
And the Shenzhou 12 will be Nie Haisheng's third space out.
That's right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. You see the booster kicking in. And liftoff. Just spectacular. The launch of Shenzhou 12 spacecraft heading to the Chinese space station, the divine vessel shipping away from its spaceport. Its destination, the Heavenly Palace. 3 astronauts on board the Shenzhou 12 spacecraft will be ferried to the core module of China Space Station. And of course, you're hearing the voices from the launch team providing tracking status, saying things are going good. That's the sound we'd like to hear. We have different ground tracking stations.
Okay, it's pitched over. Change its direction of flight.
All right. And that's the view of the side boosters. You're looking down at the tail of the rocket.
This is a camera on the second stage.
Major event coming up is the separation of the escape tower, right? That's going to happen about 2 minutes into the flight.
2 minutes.
And because the sky today is really clear, so we have a beautiful view.
Clear visual.
Yeah, we can have the clear visual of the rockets coming, the launching off into the sky, and
Right. The astronauts, they look fine to me. They look okay.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, the rocket has 4 side boosters. Those are the 2 out of the 4 you're watching there.
So is that supposed to be the period that the astronaut feel very uncomfortable?
Yes, that's
speeding
the
up?
very
It's speeding up?
beginning period.
They
Yes.
were already experiencing the G load.
Yeah.
All right.
When we'll see peak G load?
The separation before the first stage.
Okay, so
All
we're
right, so
not
it's
there
coming
yet.
Yeah.
The
As
G-forces are
the
increasing.
First thing would be the separation of the strap-on boosters.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
the first one will be setting of
escape
the
tower.
emergency escape tower.
If everything goes right, we're going to see the
Several
escape tower
seconds.
jettison
we
in a
won't be
few
able
moments.
to see it on the camera because this camera was looking down to the strap-on boosters.
Oh, that's the 3D
simulation.
animation.
Yeah.
That animation is based on
Yeah, that's the
real-time
escape
telemetry.
tower.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
that's
the
the separation of the escape tower that we just saw there. And you heard the call out.
And
That's
then
the infrared
150
image.
seconds will be the separation of the 4 boosters.
A great infrared image showing you a successful separation of the escape tower, really indicating the low-level flight, the initial stage of the flight went well.
That's in fact an infrared camera that is looking at the rocket itself.
Right.
So this is the video.
Again, the side boosters.
show
Coming up
separation.
next is
Yeah.
Booster
the
separation.
booster separation.
Yep.
And first stage,
Yeah,
oh,
great.
there you
that's
see
separation.
the booster
The
separation.
4 side booster has been separated from the core stage.
And the first stage rocket
Beautiful.
separation. You see the 5 bright dots? Those
yeah,
are the
that's
4
beautiful.
side boosters and the one
And also the
stage
core
1
stage,
rocket.
the first stage is also
Core
already
stage rocket.
separated.
So now the astronauts should be feeling really comfortable, and they're making some movement. You can see.
Oh, they're waving to the camera,
And
telling the
next
team they're okay.
operation will be jettisoning of the payload fairings.
I think that's the image of the stage 2 rocket engine.
Exactly. The
Coming
camera
up next-
mounted on towards the backward.
Right. Coming up next is the shutdown of the stage 2 rocket engine.
And there is only one main engine for the
Only
second
one
stage.
main engine
Okay.
and
Main
4
That's the
vernier
view
engines.
of the
one main
spacecraft,
engine
right?
and
That's
4
the-
more vernier engines. Vernier
Vernier.
engines is to control the
All
attitude.
right.
Yeah, the
That's the
fairing.
jettison of the
Yeah, yeah,
fairing. That's the solar panel you're seeing. Which module is that? Is that the orbital module, service module? Service module. Is
It
it?
is separation of the payload fairings.
The fairing covers the service module as well as the capsule.
The camera, as you mentioned, is mounted on the I believe the propulsion module.
There you can see the Earth from the
Yes.
camera on the spacecraft.
Well, we can already.
The ellipse of
That's a
the
great
Earth.
visual,
Beautiful. So a series of fast maneuvers and status reports there.
So far,
9:26 a.m. Beijing time here. About 4 minutes into the flight, everything continues to look good.
They should be already 100 kilometers above Earth already. at this moment.
Wow, it's incredible to hear how fast the rocket.
the whole
is going.
process that before they are hitting the orbit, it just need like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, 580 seconds also.
Yeah, roughly 10 minutes. Yeah.
And the next critical step will be the shutdown of the main engine. And then it will work on the 4 vernier engines. Vernier engine can rotate in different directions to control the attitude. And finally, and can adjust the orbit to be accurate enough.
So this engine you're seeing from the screen is very important because it has to have a surgical precision of when to shut down, to eject that spacecraft into the precise altitude and position to catch up with the station.
And what's it like to endure so many G-forces? I guess we are going to hit the time when the crew will feel maximum G-forces before the second stage rocket shut down?
They've already passed the most inconvenient period.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, already. Because the thrust of the second stage is not very large.
Okay.
Only one engine, one main engine. Just before the separation.
And we really didn't notice much difference from their facial expression, from their body gesture. I guess they've been trained to endure such pressure.
We can see from the left screen that's the shows
3D
the data
animations.
link between the ground station and the vehicle.
And that animation is based on real-time telemetry. It's not a pre-made video. It's really showing you what's
Yes.
going on in real time.
This is the real camera.
Yeah.
And you can see the sky become dark because it's already in outer space. It's black, pitch black.
Yeah. The bright part is the Earth, is the
Yeah.
horizon of the Earth,
And
very
there are
bright.
numerous cameras on this vehicle, and they have light on it to illuminate the rocket so that everything shows up on camera, and engineers can take a look at them, just in case of a problem or anything. They
Because it's already in almost a vacuum condition, so the vibration is not so intensive than the initial stage.
So this engine, the second stage engine has been designed for just one main engine and 4 extra engines. This kind of design was specially designed for the precise orbit entering.
It comes from the original design of the Long March 2 rocket. So we saved a lot of money by using the same engine on the first and the second stage, just a different configuration with vacuum condition. But still we need the 4 vernier engines. Vernier engine is much smaller than the main engine, but with these engines we can have an accurate adjust of the orbit.
Okay.
It's almost 9:30 a.m. We're almost about 8 minutes into the flight. And keep in mind that this is China's first crewed mission since 2016, nearly 5 years ago. It's also China's 7th crewed spaceflight overall in the past 18 years. Ground tracking staff are saying everything is normal, is going nominal. You just saw some bright orange flame there.
The main engine is shut down.
And now it's been shut down. Another critical step being completed.
So now those astronauts
Now they're floating.
Oh, they're
Now
floating.
they're floating. So
Now they're supposed to feel more comfortable.
they do look like they're a bit more at ease now. They're looking at their flight manual.
We can hear from the voice that it shows that the USB, the tracking, the video tracking, and also the optical cameras tracking very normal. So the vernier engine, the 4 vernier engines is still working to adjust its orbit very accurately.
Yeah, and they're looking out of the window. You can see the light from the window.
Yeah.
of
This
the
is a camera
spacecraft.
on board on the propulsion module.
Okay.
You can see the
Solar
folded
panels.
panels, the 4 pieces of panels on one side.
And coming up next will be the spacecraft separation.
Exactly. After the shutdown of the 4 vernier engines.
So in fact, they're fine-tuning their attitude
Yes.
and make sure that it's facing in the right directions before they shut down and separate the engine.
Yeah.
Usually the separation is near the eastern coast of Shandong province.
How this spacecraft is gonna find the Tampa core module in space? I mean, there's nothing that you can use to.
Well, there's so many things. I mean, there's signals that transmitting to each other. Their navigation systems, their BeiDou, they're communicating, and their ground crews are supporting. So this time the astronaut doesn't have to do too much, and it's going to be automatic, fast connection.
Yes.
The robotic just take care of
Automatic
everything.
rendezvous and
Yeah.
The
docking.
Shenzhou 12 mission, once again, will last about 3 months in space, the longest stay in space to date by Chinese astronauts.
Oh, separation.
All right, you see the great separation of
stage is
spacecraft.
Great.
Second stage is drifting away.
Yeah, that's right.
So the next critical step will be the unfolding of the solar panels.
Solar panels. Wow.
So once the separation is done, the capsule and the service module has to adjust its own attitude.
And you can see the spacecraft, the full view of the spacecraft from that 3D animation, right? You can see the returning capsule in the middle, and then the orbiting module and the service module. Another great view of the Earth.
That's just the, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a video from the camera mounted on the spacecraft.
As we're just standing by for the deployment of solar panels.
Look at our home.
The voice says that the data link between the vehicle and the data relay satellite has
Yeah,
been
you can
established.
see that's a pin is floating.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you
They're
if you look
tossing
at
things
the
around.
Yeah.
yeah, look inside the
They are just
There you
enjoying
have
the
it.
microgravity now.
I think the astronauts are just showing off to us.
There's one first timer.
Oh, they just won't let us know.
This is the first time for
I
Hongbo.
tell you that.
First time for Homeboy, so it's going to be an exciting journey.
right. So this is the Shenzhou 12 mission, and this mission will involve a series of technical verification tasks related to the performance and function of the Tianhe core module. It will include extravehicular activity using EVA suits delivered by Tianzhou 2, the cargo ship, and the verification of the regenerative life support system. So everything's going to happen after 6 or 7 hours later, right? After they docking with the Tianhe core module.
And you can see the movement of the blue Earth around the spacecraft.
Yeah.
So it's
Just
really moving very nice.
amazing.
Great picture here.
That's right.
华山出轨根数及分离点参数发出，景山。
The voice tells
There
us
you see the deployment of solar panels.
Now the solar panel is unfolding.
unfolded.
Major tearings in
Normally
the
for
audience
satellite launch, this would be the success signal.
Oh, yeah.
So at this
There you
moment,
have
the
it.
spacecraft has continuous power supply.
That was, this is the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center. The image earlier was from Beijing. This is the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center once again.
So the guys who's responsible for rockets are relaxed. Their job is done. So now it's up to the life support system.
That's also a relay race, right?
Yes, yes.
And this is from Beijing Aerospace City.
And it's a spacecraft right now in the same orbit of
Yeah,
the
it's the
Tianhe core
same
module.
altitude,
The same.
but they need to have final adjustment so that they can catch up with the.
At this moment, the Shenzhou 12 is in the same orbital plane of the Tianhe 1,
天路
but
1
with
号
a
领
different
4
altitude.
跟踪正常，前反向数据收发正常。
Usually the apogee is 200 kilometers, and the perigee is 200 kilometers, and the apogee depends on the control, and usually more than 300 kilometers high.
Up until now, everything is going well, but we don't want to call it too early. We are standing by for an official announcement from the launch team that's going to happen any moment from now.
We should confirm, as we've already heard the voice, that the initial orbit parameters has been sent to the ground stations, but we still need to verify and checking the accurate orbital parameters, because you know that these orbital parameters must be accurate enough to ensure that it can have the chance to dock with the station.
Yeah.
So only in this moment we can announce the success of the launch.
So-
Not only launch into orbit, but still need to be accurate enough.
So lots of calculations there going on.
If it is
on the
not
ground.
accurate, it will waste a lot of propellant. So maybe not make it impossible to dock with the station.
So it will be taking a few burns before we catch up. So it's going to be using the apogee and perigee as well as the inclination to catch up with the station. So at the precise point, it will burn the engine to lift the altitude of the Shenzhou, so it can have a precise alignment with the Tianhe.
Usually we have 5 to 6 orbit maneuvers before docking
航程
with
报
the
告，座
station.
舱环境正常。
And it will be done automatically.
神舟12
How
号
the,
depends
the
on
maneuver,
vehicle.
the orbit maneuver will be.
So this the ground staff will be more relaxed because it will be done by the vehicle itself.
座舱环境正常，可以
But also the
打开面
astronaut
窗。
could kick in to maneuver
Usually,
with that.
no, this will be not because you know that it will be calculated in the onboard computers, not by the astronauts. Only in some emergency cases, the astronaut can do something.
Oh, they
Oh,
are
they're
Oh, they're waving
opening
hands to
their
us.
helmets.
Hello.
They're waving to cameras. Well, a way of telling our team there they're okay,
长
and
江
another
6
way of
号
saying
跟
thank
踪
you.
正常。
Yes, just now we have just heard that the capsule itself has a good environment to open the helmet.
That is perfect.
So
it's,
this means that for the third time, Mr. Nie Haisheng visited the outer space.
Yeah.
He becomes the second astronaut in China, just after Jing Haipeng, who have achieved 3 missions.
3 missions. Veteran.
impressive.
And it's
And
gonna
we're
be
about
salute to the battery.
16 minutes into the flight.
So the person who stays in space for the longest period of time, that would be his record.
You can see Tang Hongbo and Liu Boming who's sitting beside the window
They're
looking
watching out
yeah,
through the window.
enjoying, take it all in. The majestic view.
As I mentioned, it is the most favorite thing of the astronauts.
Yes.
Just enjoy the view of the Earth.
And it seems the solar panels are working properly.
各号注意，我是
You
北
can
京。
actually hear the astronauts
Yes.
talking to each
They're
other.
talking about the velocity 7.8, 7.9. That means
神
kilometers
舟
per
12号
second.
飞船已进入近地点高度
They're
200公
looking
里，
at their own speed.
远地点高度
Yeah.
348公里，倾角41.3度，周期1小时30分钟的预定轨道。太阳帆板展开，飞船工况正常，航天员状态良好。北京出轨根数及飞点参数已向各方向发出，后续工作按照正常计划实施。东风。
Talk to us what we
Huashan.
just heard there. A series of
We
status
heard that
reports.
the initial orbit, the perigee is
Jiangyin.
200 kilometers, and the apogee is 345
Jianglu.
kilometers, which means that it's a little bit lower than the than our station. This also means, as Yan Song has mentioned, it will circle the Earth faster than the Tiangong, Tianhe, and it can act as a chasing vehicle.
To
with,
move- to
with
move
several
a little
orbits,
up.
it can go closer to the station. So after they close to within the distance of 52 kilometers, the long distance guidance will be ended, and then they will depend on the relative measurements, as I mentioned, the microwave radar, the lidar, and also the optical sensors to achieve the automatic docking.
So they also mentioned about the inclination 41 degrees, and they also mentioned about the route parameters. The route parameters is for the vehicle to maneuver, and based on that route parameters, and all the ground control team has to know that exact number to know where to start with. So that's all the report, which means basically means it's a good and successful launch.
Oh, I was going to ask you that. Based on those data, how good of a launch was it?
Well,
A
so
lot of
far, so
jargon going
good.
on.
So far, so good. Yeah.
北京东风报告。
我是北京，东风请讲。
下面请发射场局指挥部指挥长、中国酒泉卫星发射中心张志芬主任宣布发射结果。
北京明白，各号注意收听。
各位领导，
Honorable leaders,
根据
comrades,
北京航天飞行
according
控
to
制
the
中心
report
通
from
报
the，Beijing Aerospace
长
Control
征
Center,
2F 12
Long
火箭
March 2 FY
已
12
将
rocket
神舟12号
has
载
sent
人飞船
Shenzhou 12
准确
manned
进入预定
spacecraft
轨
to
道
the preset
帆板
orbit.
展开，
The solar
工
panel
作正
unfolded
常。
functionally
我宣布，
well
神
and
舟
also
12号
successfully.
发射
I
任
now
务
declare the
取得
launch of Shenzhou
圆满
12
成
mission
功。
a complete success.
北京东风报告，发射结果宣布完
北
毕。
京明白，各号注意，今天的发射任务到此结束，请按计划做好运行段测控工作。东风、
东风明白，
华山、明白；江阴、
明白，
天路、
明白，
长江6号、
长江6号明白。
10号。 知道。